Well, my friends, we meet again. It's a Monday. It's a Monday, and it's been a number of days since I've been here. Life's gotten a hold of me, and that's the way it goes sometimes. As I've said to you in previous sit downs here with you, that I'm waiting on the decision of the Spirit now, and that's happening in the next 2 weeks. So details in my life are ramping up, and in 2 weeks, I honestly don't know what my life's going to look like. But I'm intrigued to find out because I'm ready. I'm ready in any eventuality. And this is what I want to talk to you about today, actually. I mean, readiness is a word I use a lot to talk about it. But let me put it to you this way. There's a friend of mine who learned that I was doing this thing here, this podcast, I guess, or whatever this is called, this sitting down and sharing whatever insight I have. And so I sent her the first one. And it's the first time I'd looked back since March 13th. March 13th is when I started this thing. And it's like pretty much 2 months from then. I look back and what I saw was development. What I saw was a difference in my face, a difference in my eyes, a difference in my mouth, a difference in my demeanor. And that pleased me. It pleased me because, as I've said many times, and I'll say again, the work works. Do it. Do what? Go inside. Find your love inside. And then again, whatever's going on in there, if there's something that is stopping you from feeling this love, which is no more than feeling good in the moment, it's just about feeling good. Feel good first. If you're not feeling good, don't start anything. If you're not feeling good, be careful what you're thinking. If you're not feeling good, work it out. Why are you not feeling good? You know, it's going to lead you into some kind of sequence that you will find is about the past. Even if you think at first it's about the future, it is going to be about the past because you're worried about something in the future. Why? Because you're expecting something to happen because of the past. So I have to say that looking back and seeing the change in my demeanor that I can see in myself is an affirmation. So it was like out of nowhere. I looked back and I was like, oh my God, look how I look like I'm sick or something 2 months ago, right? So 2 months of discipline and I already noticed a difference. Also, I noticed how my language has changed. You know, it was healing journey. It was tentatively talking about spirituality. And then as I reclaimed my capacity to visualize through discipline and honesty here with you, suddenly I'm talking about life is a temple of dreams. I'm talking about evolutionary ideas. I'm talking about what it means to deal with the survivors. You know, I'm talking about living in a world with the vampires and the zombies. You know, it's interesting. It's interesting. And I feel really good. That is the most important thing I want to communicate to you. Because as I've said before, this internet is an evolutionary tool. Evolution is happening around us. The old paradigm is dead and gone. It's finished. And there's a certain frightening darkness to that because it is disintegrating around us. It's not only cracks and fissures in something that was solid, it's now rubble and disintegrating into chaos. Chaos. Our society is chaos. Our world is chaos. That's not to say we are individually chaotic, but our systems are breaking down and we don't have any guide or idea or vision of the future that I can see. Although I will say that I'm beginning to see more and more positive manifestations, little flower blossoms here and there. More and more I see them. More and more I see them. In my town here, on the weekend, I played some music on Saturday and was in a great mood. And then I walked through town. And on the way back, there was this lady sitting there with a red typewriter on Government Street, which is our beautiful tourist street. She's giving poems for donations. And so I gave a donation and got a poem. And I just got to say, it was good. And gives me hope when I see people doing something like that. You know, all the musicians I see around, people playing music, people offering poetry, people just being present, being alive, doing their thing. It fills me with a good feeling. It's funny, I was watching this show by The Alchemist. She's another one of the YouTube, she's a huge influencer, it must be. Like, she's got like tens of thousands of views, hundreds of thousands of views. She's this very beautiful, dark lady, and she has got a very, very complex and elaborate spiritual vision. And at first I was like, whoa, that's some complexity she got going on there. But as I really savored what she was saying, I'm just so happy there is yet another person making a difference, making a positive difference, using this evolutionary tool for what it's meant to be used for, evolution. The internet isn't a thing in itself. It's a conduit. It's a tube through which we can communicate what's important to us, what is important for our, not only our survival, but our evolving consciousness. That's what this tool is for. This tool is the breakdown of tyranny. It's the breakdown of censorship. It's all of these things because we can communicate to each other directly. The only way that we are influenced is by all the algorithms and all the old traditional ways of propaganda and control that are coming into this internet system in order to vend products and divide and make people subservient and to continue the reign of the vampires. Here I am talking the metaphor of the vampires. But you know what? It's real. People are vampiric. People who through their conditioning only know how to take and they don't know how to give. You know, these are the vampires, right? I mean, I have a distinction between zombies and vampires because I think there's people who are very malicious about it. They're the vampires. And then the unconscious ones are the zombies. So they're just the followers of this ideology. What is it I'm talking about, though? I'm talking about that conditioned response. That's what my healing journey has been about, is a daily discipline and effort to get a grip on conditioned response. And I must say that in these months that I've been talking to you here, I have been healing my wounds. I've been healing my wounds to the point where I'm like, I'm ready to begin now. I'm ready to begin something. But begin what? You see? Life is a temple of dreams. This is a vision that I have. This is a vision that I have for what reality is. Loving and healing, always a process. I'm always going to be loving and I'm always going to be healing. Especially as a helper in the helping field, these are modalities that I'm always going to be into. But in terms of these months that I've been sharing myself with you, I realize that I have healed my wounds. I mean, it's never over because loving is a process. Healing is a process. And the seed of it is learning. And learning is humility. Learning, to be learning, is to realize that you don't know. And no matter what you think you don't know everything. And therefore, everything you think you might know is nothing but a speck. And it may be valuable and it may be good. But what's more important is to understand the perspective of a speck in infinity. That is where learning begins. And learning, for me, is an automatic entrance into loving, healing, evolving, dreaming. That's my equation. That's how I've worked it out for myself. I mean, this alchemist lady that I was listening to, she talked about loosh. This term is like something she picked up from some other spiritual teacher, advisor. Loosh essentially is your living life force energy, your feeling, your mood. And it's interesting, she talked about it in terms of like flavors. She had a very taste and palate oriented descriptive process. You know, emotions as flavors. And we are conditioned to certain flavorful expressions. And and that things which drain us, which are to say negative emotions and negative ideas, they're a kind of conditioning which builds us into a misuse of our energy and our feeling. Our louche, as you would put it, you know what I mean? And I mean, here I am, I sound mocking, louche, I don't like, it's got a neat connotation. It's like whoosh and lush, a lush whoosh or something, I don't know. But it essentially is flow state. It's the flow state of loving energy. That's how I understand it. And it's true. Look around you. Look at yourself. Look at the people around you. Where is this loving energy going? What's it doing? You know what I mean? Most people are not tapped into loving energy, and therefore it gets sidetracked through the conditioned response. You know, and if you're lucky enough to have the conditioned response is bad enough that you want to change it, like mine, it still took decades, right? Then your journey begins. But lots of people, because they have success with their conditioned response, they're not interested in changing. They're the ones who you need to be careful of in your life, you know? If you're a spiritual seeker, I mean. And I'm definitely that. And sometimes I don't even know exactly what that means. And that uncertainty is part of it. This is where the discipline of being a spiritual warrior comes in. Humility, being humble. I mean, it might not come across that way, but I'm a humble man. I'm a humble warrior because I know that whatever I may be working on, it's just my speckness, you know? And as often as I can, I let that go and just, I'm in flow state. Flow state is being infinite. Even though you're a limited being, you tap it. Flow state is being limitless, just for a minute. However, how long you can sustain it. Loving energy flow, being, learning. See, I start talking like a dog chasing my tail. It's all kind of talking about the same thing. And so, again, where I'm at right now in my life is decision of the spirit. So in the next couple of weeks, a lot of big changes are coming to my life. And I don't exactly know how it's going to play out, but I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready, and I'm loving, and I got energy. I'm calm. I feel good. I'm ready for the change. And then when that happens, that is going to be the beginning time. I mean, there's no time like the present, and I'm here with you now, but and yet things are in play, and there's many details I need to take care of in the next week and a half, 2 weeks. It's an interesting moment. It's definitely an interesting moment, and I can't wait to tell you about it. Right now, there's nothing to tell you about it except that I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm a warrior. I got my love intact. I got my energy. I feel abundant. I feel creative. I got to check on where the vampires are that I've known in my life. I've cultivated a detachment and a separation from them. And we're going to see what we see. Looking at my list down here just to make sure I don't miss anything. But I don't know. Coming here and being disciplined with you is, it's for me right now, but I don't know exactly what it's going to mean to you. Because in the end of the day, it's like I'm just another talking head in the middle of this great, vast, shining sea of possibility inside this internet. It's not the dark sea of awareness. It's not the infinite eternity that I'm in out here in the world. And yet it's something that's going on between us that is leading into the future. And we gotta be sure of what we're doing with it. And this is what I'm doing. I'm communicating, loving, healing, evolving, dreaming. I'm communicating that this life is a temple of dreams. I heard human beings described as multidimensional beings today. Again, by The Alchemist. Interesting lady. And how I understand a phrase like interdimensional beings is that we're all dreamers. We're all dreamers. And this life is a dream. And therefore, what dreams are we working on, right? One of the dreams is the dream of evolution right now that this internet is a part of, right? This social evolution, this material world of light and life that we wake up into every day. It's interesting to me. It's interesting. It's interesting to talk to you about it, even though I'm talking to myself. And yet, because of the chaos around me, because of the chaos around us, I think it's important for everyone to get into their deep truth and live it and bring it into the internet, because there's too much nonsense going on inside of it already. It's a tool. It's an evolutionary tool. Use it. This is me using this tool in the only way that I know how, in a positive way. And I'm ready to create something. And I don't know what that's going to be exactly, because my music is a creation. But there's a part of me that's also interested in stories. I love shows. I love movies. I love books. I have written lots of stories. I used to play a lot of the role-playing games. And role-playing games are a thing I've never replaced in my life. It was a part of my younger years. Me and all my friends, we used to play the role-playing games. And I must say, that is an incredible experience if you haven't tried it. There's a musicalness about it. There's a musicalness about it because you and all your friends get together and you make an agreement on a kind of dream. And then you have this dream together. It is an enriching, creative experience, if you like that kind of thing. For me, my creativity then became a part of the relationships that I'm in. And so, as a writer as well, as a poetic writer, as well as a musician, I'm not sure how to activate this other dimension of my being, this sort of more of an abstraction. Like when I play music, I'm in a very visceral, creative space. Tone, it's easy to get to tone, you know? Talking to you is it's second person narrative. I am talking to you, right? But when I sit down with a page outside of relationship, without tone of voice to carry me, this is one of the cutting edges in my learning. It is difficult for me to sustain flow state because I get caught up in thinking, and thinking bogs me down and pulls me into like history, pulls me into conditioned response. And then my writing becomes this empty, arid, drab sort of thing. So it seems to me that I'm finding that some kind of writing I want to do, some kind of storytelling I want to do. But what story? What is a story worth telling in the Temple of Dreams? What dream is worth living? I'm already living it. That's the thing. I'm already living it, and yet I love a good story, and I want to participate. So that's kind of what I got to say today. I'm in the middle of tumult. Tumult and change is going on right now in my life. And it's okay. Being ready, being humbly ready for what's coming my way is my position. I'm not sure if I'm going to be here for the next couple of days because I've got very full days. Some moves that have to happen. Just some interesting things that are going on. And I can't wait to debrief about it later. But for now, it's more like, I am ready. I'm ready to make these moves. I'm ready to make these changes. At the same time, as I share of myself here to you, I am also on the cusp of a new vista. I'm in the new vista right now. I am the dreamer of my life. I am energy. And I'm infinitely powerful, as you are, as everyone is. We are infinity unfolding itself into eternity right now. And the only way to really feel that is to tap your love space inside. It's not to do with the material world. It's not to do with your thinking. It's not to do with anything that's happened to you, even though all of these things are still it. It's a question of your perspective. It's a question of what you emphasize. And so this thing I do here with you, whatever this is a way for me to emphasize correctly in my own life, and then leave something that maybe has a resonation for someone else. This internet is the possibility for so many different flavors of expansion, so many different tastes, so many different nuances. So many different flowers are blossoming in this internet that anyone can walk through this internet and find the thing that smells the sweetest, tastes the richest, whatever it is. This is just another one. My negativeness inside says, well, why would anyone want to partake in what this unhealthy, disastrous geezer has got to say? And yet, I too have value. Everyone has value. Because everybody is a piece of infinity. All of us are. All of us are in our own dream. We can dream together. We can dream separately. But in the end of the day, all of us are in our own existential dream reality. And there's only one end to it, and that is death. We all share it. There's no reason to hide from it. Shouldn't be depressing. It should be an activating element in today, because you're not dead today. I'm not dead today yet, even though once you know that you're going to die, life has this surreal quality. What then, right? Well, I'm ready to begin. I'm ready. And in the next couple of weeks, things are going to change. In what way? I don't know for sure, but I'm ready. I'm ready. And what I'm leaving for you here in this internet is like the footsteps that I've taken to get here, to readiness. Footsteps to readiness is kind of what I'm talking about, because there's something about discipline in it. There's something about humbleness. There's something about loving within that happens when you are disciplined and humble. There's something about history, which is to say, getting a grip on history and letting it go, erasing it, if you will, erasing the connection points. Your history is the island of the tonal, if you will. It's the island on which you live. So clean it up, change things around, make sure the island is exactly the way you want it to be, because we have the power to make our lives how we want it to be. Everybody does. Why? Because everyone is infinitely powerful. Weird to think about. Everyone is the same. Everyone is the same fractal miniature of the cosmic whole. And as a matter of fact, on this planet, we appear to be at the height of evolution. We appear to be at the cusp of a new dawning after endless dawns have preceded us. And what are we doing with it? What are we doing with it? What are we doing with our time? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing with the internet? What is society doing? It's I don't want to get into that critical analytic game, because those are the steps that lead to exhaustion and despair and defeat, because inside is the only reality. It's our inner reality, that inner dimension, which is where we meet our dying being. And that is liberation. I'm really rambling today, but at the same time, talking about footsteps to readiness, it's like there's no easy way to talk about it. Everything that I've said up to this point is a footstep in readiness, and I can see in the change in my demeanor, in my being, that I am ready. I was ready before, but yet still constantly in a loving, healing, evolving, dreaming process. And now I can see myself, even though I knew that it was going to have a positive effect. I can see without a shadow of a doubt that the work works. And so I am leaving this testimony that however you wake up inside, however you start learning, however you break the idea that you know everything, that your thinking is all that there is, that the conditioned response that you are raised into is the only picture. Like, all of these things are just obstacles that we must work with on our way towards being. And of course, there is no way towards being. Being is what we already are and what we already have. But through the bizarreness of our upbringing, you know, whether it's deliberately traumatic, accidentally traumatic, or just, you know, just an aspect of this predatory social context that we live in, the only answer is to tune in, turn on, and drop out again from the 60s. You know, it's like they began it. That was the fracturing. So that was the great block being broken and then falling. Fractures, cracks, and breakages. Maybe Nietzsche was the first one when he talked about God is dead. You know, they knew it even 200 years ago. They could sense it was coming. Some people could sense it was coming. Blake sensed that it was coming. You know, Blake, Nietzsche. And then, wouldn't you know it, after the philosophers and the poets began to feel, you know, Yeats, the center cannot hold, right? People in the 19th century were beginning to wake up to the fact that this can't go on. And then what happened? Well, science followed suit. Relativity, uncertainty, quantum physics, all the things that have been discovered scientifically about the subatomic world inside of us and the macrocosmic world outside of us is nothing more than the proof of every spiritual system. All of us are tripping on a beam of light right now. What are we doing with our time? All I got to say is that I'm happy that this internet has got plenty of blossoming people and influencers on it. Choose wisely as you walk through this dense jungle of noise of the internet. I know I take care. And even so, as much care as I take, it's just a tool. It's a from here to there thing. You know, you're out there watching, living your life through this conduit. You hear what I'm saying? Through this conduit, you can hear what anyone's saying. Through this conduit, you can know anything that human beings have ever known. It's all in the internet right now, waiting to facilitate the communication between you and me, between us. It's evolutionary. It's an evolutionary tool. Let's use it as such. That's what I got to say about that. Anyway, a bit of a rambling, sort of almost a go nowhere message this morning, but you know, it's another day of patiently waiting for this wave to break. This wave is breaking. It's breaking this week into next week, and then we're going to see what happens. I'm ready. I'm strong. I'm loving. I'm whole. More whole than I've ever been in my life. And thank you. Thank you, internet. Thank you, strangers on the internet, for being there, because it is the discipline of being responsible to people I don't know. Because when I'm saying these things to you, I literally, I don't know what I'm going to say. Therefore, I'm outside of my historic response. I'm refusing to be shamed, so I'm outside of my historic response. And I don't exactly know what it's all about. I just know that it's the right thing to do, to leave these footprints, to leave these map markers, to leave these signposts. Everyone's got to be, anyone who knows anything should be on here right now, sharing their best thing, sharing their stoke. My stoke is music. My stoke is being fit. My stoke is my spiritual perspective. And my stoke is a kind of storytelling poetry. And as time moves into the future, we're going to see what we see. We're going to see what we see. So, from this precipice of the wave cresting right now, cresting and breaking over the next week and a half, from this perspective, I wish you well, and I'll be back, of course, but I don't know if I'll be back before the wave has crested and crashed, and I've surfed it into this next stretch, into this next vista. So we'll see. Either I'm going to talk to you soon or later. Maybe I'll talk to you in the middle of it, talking to you from the surfing edge of the wave, or after. I'm not sure. But however it goes, turn on, tune in, and drop out. And be well. Be well. And remember, we are in a temple of dreams, my friends. Dream the life that you want to live. I'll see you after the wave.